Alright, once I have finished in coloring all the branches, I'm going to use my E25 brown marker, and I'm just going to color down the trunks. And this is just really, really easy. Just stamp color right over the black stamped image. Alright, so there you have the basic stamped image. Let's go ahead and add that to the card base. Okay, so we'll just add adhesive to the back. Just center it on there. Alright, and then let's go ahead and stamp a sentiment inside the card. So I'm using the "May your home be filled with the joy of the season." And again, I'm going to stamp into this foam pad. Press firmly but don't rock. There's our little sentiment. Alright, now I want to show you one way to add shine to your project. And I have some crystal paper glaze that I'm going to go ahead and add to the snow, which you want to do at the end, and then you want to allow it to dry. And you just gently drag it across the snow areas. And then as you allow this to dry, possibly overnight if necessary, then the crystal glaze will actually become a three-dimensional clear lacquer, which will make your snow extra shiny and just adds a little bit of glimmer to your project. And so there you have our card for today. Hi, and welcome to the 2Ps Holiday Card Making class. I'm Jen Gallacher, a garden girl, and I'm going to show you how to make a stamped card that has a shine element to it. So the first thing I did is I cut this American Crafts Jingle Bells pattern paper to size to fit a 4x6 card, and I machine stitched around the edge of it, and I'm just going to adhere that to my card base. If you machine stitch before you adhere it to your card base, then you won't have any stitching on the inside of your card. It just makes it look a little more finished. This striped glittered pattern paper, which has shine in it, is also from American Crafts. I love the vintage colors in their Christmas holiday line. And we'll just put that at the bottom here. And then I used a Tim Holtz Alterations die cut. I love this label die cut to cut this shape from Craft Color cardstock, and I'm just going to ink the edges with a brown ink pad. You could also use Tim's ink applicator, and I know a lot of the girls like to use antique linen to do the outsides of this edging. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to use this Hero Art stamp set. It's got lots of little houses, it has trees, snowflake stars, and some sentiments. It's called the Sending Holiday Cheer. It's a clear set, so you will need a clear acrylic block to do this stamp set. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use this little house image, and we're going to stamp on this background piece right here. When I'm stamping, I almost always use a foam pad. This is a paper piercing pad that I got from Little Davis Designs years ago. And I love this Memento Tuxedo Black ink. It's great for what we're going to be doing today, which is using Copic markers to color in images. And so you just center your little house and press firmly. Don't rock your image, just press firmly. If you're pressing into a pad, you're going to get some give. Okay, and so I have my house. I also want to add some other images to this house, and so I just recently bought from the store some Inkadinkado stamping mass paper, and I wasn't sure about this. I've never used this paper before, but what it is it comes white, and you just stamp your image on it, and it's blue on the back. And so I stamped my image and I cut it out, and this is the part that I just find is so clever. And then if you peel away that blue backing, it's sticky, and so it functions like a post-it note. And so we're going to use this as a mask. Now I want to add some trees to my image, So I'm going to use this little tree stamp. And again, I'm going to use my Memento. Well, it would help if I use the right side of the ink. It's been a long morning. So we're going to add some trees, and I can go ahead and just stamp right over that mask on each side. Okay. All right, and then you can remove the mask to see what it looks like. Isn't that darling? So I want to actually add a background stamp to the entire image, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back down. I have this raindrop background stamp from Hero Arts as well, and I'm just going to use some tan stamping ink to ink this. I love this polka dot image because it can be used in lots of different ways. I'm going to use it as snow today. So I use a scratch piece of paper. It's just a piece of printer paper. And then I'm actually going to lay the stamp face up like this and center my image over it like this. And then I'm going to use a trusty brayer and just kind of press down firmly, but holding it in place. You can also use your fingers to do this. I just happen to have a brayer to do this. This allows you to center the image a lot easier than if you did it upside down. Okay, and so there you have an image, and it looks like little snowflakes. All right, so I'm going to remove my mask, and then I actually use this blue backing and I put it back on because I will probably use this mask again and again. So I wanted to color in with Copic markers, so I stamped the house image again on white cardstock, and I colored in with some Copic markers. I'm going to show you the Copic colors that I used. I used E29 and E25 for the house. For the red elements, I used R24 and R29. For the green elements, I used YG03 and YG17. For the yellow, I used Y15, that's the lights on the house. And I used BG15 for the ribbon on the door, and I used B00 for the snow. Shadowing the snow with blue gives it a cool color. Now, I don't have any gray Copic markers yet, but I just used a gray marker to color in the gray window trim. So once I did that, I cut out the image, and now we're just going to adhere it to the project. Copic markers are great for blending, but you can use colored pencils. You can use any type of marker you want. You can even stamp and cut out pattern paper or cardstock if you like. So now let me show you how I colored in these trees. So I'm going to use my YG17, and Copic markers have two tips. They have a brush tip and they have a chisel tip, and I'm going to use the brush tip. And I'm just going to color in the tree branches.